Here with reaction, the co-host of Outnumbered, Emily Compagno, criminal defense attorney Mark Garagos. Good to see you both. Emily, let me start with you. First of all, I feel sorry for her. There's a lot of things I like about Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie. I don't know all her music. She writes her own music. She does 40, 50 song sets. She gives huge bonuses to her crew. Seems like a nice person. I'm kind of tired of people hating on her all the time. But she has legally the right to her image and likeness. People can't just come along and profit off it or make, explicit photos like they did here. Beyond it being creepy, it's got to be legally liable somewhere in our system. And if it's not, it needs to be.
I wholeheartedly agree. And that's sort of the issue, Sean, is that everyone feels that same way. Their gut reaction is that clearly this is wrong. But the reality is that the laws as they exist now haven't quite caught up with the rate of technology and especially AI. So Karine Jean-Pierre is sure that was a fine answer, but she neglected to talk about the bipartisan bill that's moving its way through the House, which is accounting for exactly that. It's the AI Labeling Act, and they're trying to make these deep fake sites totally illegal. Last year alone, there were almost 150,000 deepfake sites, more than every other year combined. And yet at the same time, all that does is render it illegal, right? It means that you have to go after them and then they take them down. And the whole host of laws existing around revenge porn obviously doesn't account for AI-generated images, which isn't an actual image. And I know, just quickly, finally, that the Vice President of the United States and her infinite experience and esteemed accomplishments has really made a bad mark in California. She professed to be for victims' rights and actually was in bed with a lot of the digital large media sites who really worked against victim rights in the revenge porn arena. So a lot of people in California have a bad taste in their mouth from the vice president. So I wouldn't go asking this White House for any type of answers on the AI accountability front. But at the end of the day, something needs to happen because this is unfair to everyone, whether or not they're a celebrity.
Yeah, well, there's got to be. All right, guys, shifting gears. Pretty shocking decision this week. California audiologist sentenced to just probation and community service after being convicted of killing her boyfriend, stabbing him a whopping 108 times, and after her attorneys claim that she was overcome by a weed-induced psychosis. Now, Emily, I believe that could probably happen, but at what point do you have to bear responsibility for the drugs that you put in your body and the actions that come forth thereafter? I was shocked by this.
Frankly, a lot of people were. And while the law accounts for involuntary intoxication, I think the issue here surrounded that. And the issue also surrounded the judge coming in and sort of doing this after the jury already made their decision in a certain way. So there's two issues that people have with this decision as it stands. And one is the notion that the drugs out here are not the same kind of drugs, especially and including marijuana, that people decades ago found it to be. So now with this psychotic and psychosis element attached to it, then does that mean that anyone who takes a hit is all of a sudden not responsible? And as the family said, there's no winner in this tragedy, the family of the victim, but there can, however, be accountability. So then that raises questions as well in this era of prosecutors not prosecuting and judges not levying sentences and legislation taking autonomy out of the hands of judges. Then here we have an example where the jury made a certain decision and all of a sudden the judge makes a different decision. That's removing all kinds of accountability there. It sets a dangerous precedent, frankly.
Being the great criminal defense attorney that you are, Mark Garagos, why do I think somewhere in the back of that crazy mind of yours, you're thinking, oh, I might be able to use this down the road one day as you represent high-profile clients? We got to remember here, the serious side of this is, guy got stabbed 108 times, and the person that did it is not going to suffer any consequences. There's something wrong with the system that doesn't mandate at least some type of incarceration for a period of time. But we'll see what happens. Guys, good to see you. Have a great weekend.